Welcome back. You're watching our special broadcast on the Rafale deal. A report in The Hindu has raised more questions about whether financial prudence was followed by signing the intergovernmental agreement on the Rafale deal. I want to go back to Narendra Taneja of the BJP. Narendra Taneja, we can consider all the points that you've made, that the system of sovereign guarantee has to go through the National Assembly in France, and this was a decision that was taken at the highest level between the heads of state, and it was really above diplomats. This was a deal that had to be done. It was an emergency procedure. But then why compromise on anti-corruption clauses? At the end of the day, what was the necessary, what was the need, what was the pressing situation because of which we had to do away with all these clauses on financial prudence?
The question is that if you're going by kind of reports which are appearing, we don't know how authentic they are, or the people who come on your channels as independent analysts, but they're Congress spokesperson. We all know that. They work for the Congress.
But Mr. Taneja, there is also a document.
Then let me finish.
Signed by Sudhanshu Mohanty, an MOD official, in the paper.
If you listen to those who are close to Congress and not let me talk, then why do you invite me? You're not letting me complete even one sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, that's not fair. When the other previous speaker was speaking, you allowed free run. You didn't interrupt even once. That's not how it is done.
All right, sir.
You see, the point here is very clear. You see the procedures have been followed. The Minister for Defence has signed. Cabinet Committee on Security has approved it. All right, and if you have this thing because you don't like the face of BJP or you are looking for, look at all those people are targeting. They're all ideologically against BJP. They just can't stand Bharatiya Janata Party, including the newspaper you're talking about. I don't buy or don't follow that newspaper. Now the point here is that now they've started saying, I just heard the previous speaker say, damaged. Define what do you mean by damage and where are the damages? If you don't have evidence, then shut up. Or you say no corruption, we don't have an evidence. Now you have started using a new term, damage. What damage? What do you mean by that? You know, if you have, explain, or you have come up with your own definition of damage. Now that's the point. These are people who are politically, ideologically driven. They just don't, they will be happy all when BJP is out of power. They are all ganged up. They all come together. We know that. You can do program every day and they'll be happy to come. And they're the same faces. 5, 6 people, we know all of them. We know their connections with the Congress party and we all know that. Now the point here is that the people who have served in the army are expert on aviation now. Aviation, people who have served in the army at a junior level are experts now on Indian Air Force. It can happen only in India and can happen only on Indian channels. People have not served in airports. How? Why do you call them? How come they're experts on Indian airports? People have started junior position.
All right. Mr. Taneja, I want to get into other two panelists at this stage.
If you are questioning the integrity of the government, if you are questioning the integrity of the government, I have the right to question the people you basically, project as great experts.
Okay.
When they're started in junior position in the Indian Army, not in the Indian Air Force.
According
to you, they are experts.
All right. Ajay Shukla is no longer on the panel. Ajay Shukla is no longer on the panel. He's just left the panel. I want to get in Nirdosh Tyagi.
I'm not taking any names. I'm not taking any names.
Okay. But Mr. Nirdosh Tyagi, Nirdosh Tyagi, don't you think that just this is the question?
Let me clarify.
When we spoke to Ajay Shukla a short while back, when at this stage you cannot add up to allegations of corruption, do you think the only thing that the government needs to do now is to explain what was the pressing need because of which these procedures had to be done away with?
You see, a lot of people don't understand. Ajay Shukla mentioned that sovereign guarantee is given in the DPP. I don't think it's mentioned anywhere. This was a requirement generated by one of the bureaucrats. So what is given in DPP is bank guarantee. Bank guarantee costs money. So when you're negotiating with the government direct, you don't want to incur costs which are not essential. This is the short point. I think it's misleading to say it is in DPP. It's not in DPP. Nowhere is it given in DPP. So likewise, a lot of people don't understand. They've never, bothered to go through the DPP end to end, and they start commenting. So, all the deviations which have taken place in this are not unusual for a government-to-government deal. That's the short point. There is nothing in this. Like I mentioned earlier, that if you have a multi-vendor situation, you require all the anti-corruption measures because one of the any vendor can use, influence to to gain at the expense of other. But when you're dealing with government direct, who are you going to use it against? You know, there is already a vendor selected, the cost is known, and there is only negotiation. So I don't think that these issues are important. They're being given undue importance. And as I mentioned, if there is a mole, if somebody is leaking information, then you will find this kind of article appearing every now and then. Every third day there will be an article. And Ministry of Defense officials normally operate within the DPP guidelines.
All right.
You see, they were there, and that's why DAC is created. Earlier, when there was no DAC, you used to get stuck on file. Now in DAC, that Secretary Defense Finance or FADS is a member of DAC. So when DAC approves, it has his implicit approval.
Got your point. I want to get in.
That's all I have to say.
Ambassador KC Singh, one final point from KC Singh. Ambassador KC Singh, don't you think that all these reports are being looked at in isolation? Because what the lead negotiator in the Rafale deal also told me earlier in the day that there are many views which come up during a certain negotiation, but you actually have to see the final fine print.
Look, we can go on talking about it, but let me say, BJP spokesman should not be leveling charges like this. I mean, there's no point shooting the messenger. We're talking about the difference between buying from US and buying from France. Now, their foreign military sales, I have it right here, anybody can Google it. It says the purchaser does not deal directly with the defense contractor. Instead, the Defense Security Cooperation Agency serves as an intermediary. So in case of US, we don't then deal with the contractor. In case of France, we are dealing with the contractor. So let's not kid ourselves and say it's intergovernmental. It's now let's wrap ourselves in the flag. All those who are critics are against the BJP. They hate the BJP. Now, this is no argument. I would expect something better from BJP spokesman. Let them explain what the issue is rather than attacking us. I am not a Congress spokesman. I've never been in the Congress. And Taneja knows very well that I had my best positions under BJP. So, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous to conduct this kind of a debate where you start attacking anybody who talks any wisdom. He is immediately anti-BJP. He is against the nation. Well, good luck to them. If they want to go to the next election with that kind of an argument, then I think people of India are wise. They know when somebody is just ducking something.
Right.
Come forward, explain it. Don't hide behind this report, that report, and attack the messengers. Please address the message.
Okay. All right. Ambassador KC Singh, we've completely run out of time. We'd like to thank Narendra Taneja of the BJP and also Air Marshal Nirdosh Tyagi. Questions being raised by this report. Will the BJP, will the government come and explain what was the pressing need to go ahead by leaving these procedures aside? Procedures on corruption, procedures on escrow accounts. Thanks very much for joining us.